I'm Dr. Prabakaran, Assistant Professor, MCA Department, Bioinstitute of Science and Technologies. Let's see about Advanced Java program. This Advanced Java program consists of 5 units. Unit 1, Abstract Window Toolkit and Swings. Unit 2, Remote Method Invocations. Unit 3, Java server pages. Unit 4, Java database connectivity. And Unit 5, Servlet. This is the Advanced Java program. Let's see it one by one unit. First unit, Abstract Window Toolkit and Swing. This unit consists of applet, applet architectures, basic, skeleton, symbol applet, request and repending HTML applet tags, passing parameters to applet, graphics, fonts, color class, swing, JApplet, JFrame, JComponent, difference between component and a container, icon, JLabel, JTextField, JButton, JBox, JAdia button, JCombo box. This is let's see about one by one. Now we'll discuss about applet architectures. Now this is the applet architectures. This applet architecture consists of applet, browser, web server, JDBC driver, and databases. Now, the browser is a front end, that means client. Web server is a back end, that means server. The data stored into the databases. This is the architecture of applet. This is a runtime architecture for a Java applet. Next thing, the database server is connected to the JDBC driver, which is connected to the applet. The applet is also connected to a browser, which is connected to a web server that communicates with the database. This is the runtime architectures of a server. A request response to send a web server, the HTTP servlet subclass, the data stored to the JDBC driver to the databases. A request from an applications goes through a web server and HTTP servlet subclass and the JDBC driver to the databases. The database sends responses back along with the same path. Applet basics. Applet in a Java are small and dynamic internet-based programs. A Java applet can be only executed within the applet framework of Java. For an easy execution of applet, a restricted sandbox is provided by the applet framework. Generally, the applet code is embedded within HTML pages. The applet code are executed when the HTML pages get loaded into the Java compatible web browsers. Like applet are mainly downloaded on remote machines and used on the client side. A Java applet can be can be fully functional Java application as well, since it can utilize a complete Java API at its own accord. But still, there is a thin line between an applet and application in Java. Now, we have discussed about Java applet versus Java applications. Java applications are the standalone programs which can be executed independently. Java application must have main method for them to execute. Java applications just needs the JRE. Java applications don't need to extend any class unless required. Java applications can execute code from the local systems. Java applications has access to all the resources available in your system. In Java applet are small Java program which are designed to exist within HTML web documents. Java applet don't need main for executions. That means main method for executions. Java applet cannot run independently and require APIs. That means application programming interfaces. Java applet must extend java.applet.applet classes. Java applet applications cannot do so. Java applet has access only to the browser specific services. Now, Java applet hierarchy in Java. Java applet hierarchy in Java. Class java.long.object, class java.aw.component, class java.aw.container, java.aw.panel, java.applet.applet. The Java applet class, which is class of applet packages, extends the panel class of on packages of AWT packages. The panel class is subclass of the container class is the same packages. The container class is an extension of component class belonging to the same packages. The component class is an abstract class and the derives serve several useful classes for the components such as checkbox, listbox, button, and etc. Okay. Now, how to execute applets in Java? First one, two types of execution Java using a Java enabled web browsers or using applet viewer. First one, using a Java enabled web browser. If we are trying to execute our applet in this way, first we need to compile our Java applet file. Once done, we have to create a separate HTML file and add the applet code within it with a reference to your class file within it. Now we can click the HTML file to launch the applet in the browser. Below, I have given the code packet to create a HTML files. Second, using applet viewer. In order to execute a Java applet in this way, all you need to is instead of creating a separate file for HTML code, we can directly add command at the beginning of your Java source code while indicating the presence of applet tag within. This helps in documenting our Java code with a prototype of the necessary HTML statements. Next one, life cycle of applet. This is the life cycle of applet. First step, the four methods in the applet class give the framework on which we build and serious applet. First one, init, start, stop, destroy, and paint method. These methods are the applet life cycles, which is the basics of applet. First, init method. This method is intended for whatever initialization is needed for our applet. It is called after the param tag inside the applet tag have been processed. Let's start. This method is automatically called after the browser calls the init method. It is also called whenever the user returns to the page containing the applet after having gone off to other pages. Next, start method. This method is automatically called after the browser calls the init method. It is also called whenever the user returns to the page containing the applet after having gone off to other pages. Next, stop method. This method is automatically called when the user moves off the page on which the applet sits. It can therefore be called repeatedly in the same applet. Next, destroy method. This method is only called when the browser shuts normally because the applet are meant to live on HTML pages. We should not normally leave resources behind after a user leave the pages that contain the applet. As paint method. Invoked immediately after the start method and also anytime the applet needs to repaint itself in the browsers. The paint method is actually inherited from the java.awt. An applet skeleton, an applet skeleton. All but the most trivial applet override a set of method that provides the basic mechanism by which the browser or applet viewer interface to the applet and controls its execution. Four of these methods, init, start, stop, and destroy, are defined by applet. Another pain method is defined by the AWT component classes. This is a main major method, pain method. Most applet override these four methods. These four methods form applet lifecycle. The init method, the init is the first method to be called. This is where variable are initialized. This method is called only once during the runtime of applet. Next, start method. Start method. This method is called after init method. This method is called to restart an applet after it has been stopped. A stop method is called to suspend thread that does not need to run when applet is not visible. Destroy. Destroy method is called when our applet needs to be removed completely from memory. Uh, this is the sample applet code. The slash star applet code is equal to height width is equal to 300 height is equal to 300, slash close the applet. This is the HTML tag. This is the applet code tag. Within the same format in the applet code in the Java files. Next, import java.applet.applet is a class. Next, import java.ability.graphics is using the paint method. Public class L is a class name, extends the applet class. Extends the applet class. Public void init, this is the paint method. This is the init method. Next, a public void start is the start or resume executions. Public void stop, the stop method is used the stop the applet. Next, public void paint graphics G. The graph is a class, not G is a creative object of the particular classes. Now G dot draw string. Draw string is a write a line, write a string into the applet viewer. A hello world is a string, 20 is x-axis, and another 20 is y-axis. This is mentioned the pixels. This is the simple applet program. Now, this is how to. So the next thing, requesting repaint HTML applet tag. Request repainting HTML applet tag. An applet writes to its window only when its paint method is called by the AWT. Whenever our applet needs to be update the information displayed in its window, it's simply called a repaint method. The repaint method is defined by the AWT. It causes the AWT runtime system to execute a call to our applet update method, which in it is default implementation called paint method. Thus, for another part of our applet to output to its window, simply store the output and then call repaint method. The AWT will then execute a call to paint, which can display the stored information. For example, void repaint method. This version causes the entire window to be repainted. Void repainted int left, int top, int width, int height. This version specify a region that will be repainted. Next one, void repaint long max delay. Here, max delay specifies the maximum number of milliseconds that can elapse before update is called. Next, void repaint long max delay int x, int y, int width, int height. Here, max display specifies the maximum number of milliseconds that can elapse before update is called. Beware true, though if the time elapsed before update can be called, it is called. There is no return value or exception through, so we must be careful. Now this is example of paint method. Next, passing parameter to applet. Passing parameter to applet. Parameter specifies extra information that can be passed into an applet from the HTML pages. Parameters are specified using the HTML param tag. Param tag. The param tag is a subtag of the applet tag. The param tag contains two attributes, name and value, which are used to specify the name of the parameter and the value of the parameter respectively. For example, the param tag for passing name and age parameter looks as like the param name is equal to name, value is equal to age. Param name is equal to age, value is equal to 25. This is the example. Next thing, get parameters. Get parameter method. The get parameter method of applet class can be used to review the parameter passed from the HTML page. The syntax of get parameter method is like a string get parameter, string param name. This is the parameter syntax. Next thing, graphics. All graphics are drawn relative to a window. This can be main window or of an applet, a child window of an applet, or a standard alone application window. The origin of each window is at the top of left coordinates 0, 0. Coordinates are specified in pixel. All output to a window takes a place through a graphics context. A graphics context is encapsulated by the graphics class and it's obtained in two ways. First one, it is passed to an applet when one of its various methods, such as paint or update, is called. Next, second one, it is returned to by the get graphics method of component. The graphics class defines a number of drawing functions. Each shape can be drawn edge only or filled. Objects are drawn and filled in the currently selected graphics color, which is black by the default when a graphics object is drawn the exceeds the dimension of the window. The output is automatically clipped. This is the graphics method. Methods of graphics class. This is the public abstract void draw string, public void draw rect, public abstract void fill rect, public abstract void draw oval, public abstract void fill oval. This is the methods of graphics classes. And public abstract void draw line, public abstract boolean draw image, public abstract void draw art, public abstract void fill art, public abstract void set color, public abstract void set font. This is the graphics classes. Now let's see this example. Now this is the simple applet examples. This is the simple applet example. Is a applet code is equal to applet scale applet scale is a class name bits equal to 300, heights equal to 100. This includes the applet tag and is slash star. Public class applet scale extends applet. called first the public void init method. This is initializations. Next called second after init, also called whenever this applet is restarted using public void start method. Next public void stop method is method using for when the applet is stopped. Next suspense executions the public void discharge methods called the when applet is terminated. Okay, next, a call on an applet window must be restored using void paint methods. This is a read display contents of window. This is the sample applet code. Slash star applet code equal to hell is here. Java applet class name and width equal to 300, height equal to 300. Slash applet closing the applet tag is a HTML tag. Now import the classes. Import java.aw dot sorry java.applet.applet class and import java.aw.graphics. Next public class help is a class name, extends applet, open curly braces, public void paint, open by graphics and G. Graph is a class, G is a object. Now G dot drawstring. The G dot drawstring is a method. G dot drawstring hello world. This is a print the string in the applet. Okay, so applet viewer hello world 20 is a x-axis, another 20 is a y-axis. This is a simple applet program. Next, this is the example of parameter tag. Applet code get param is a class name, height with param names equal to name, while is equal to Ramesh. Next parameter para names equal to age, while is equal to 25. This are using applet tag. Now import java.aw star, import java.applet.star. Now public class get para extends applet. Now here using string n, declare a variable to variable string n and a public void init method n is equal to get parameter of name. The name is a parameter declared here is a name. Okay, and a is equal to get parameter age. Now the value moves to the here. Now next public void paint graphics G is a G dot drawstring. The variable is a n. Name is the n variable and specify the x-axis and the y-axis. Next G dot drawstring age is a is a variable and 20 is a x-axis, 40 is y-axis. This is the simple get parameter example. Okay, next graphics. Next one, graphics. This is the same applet codes equal to graphics D. Graphics D is a class name, width is equal to 300, height is equal to 300, and close the applet tag. Now here import two packages java.aw.applet, sorry java.applet.applet and import java.aw.stars. Public class graphics D is a class name, extends applet. Next public void paint is another method, public void paint graphics G. This is the class. Now G dot set color, color dot red, this is a red. Next G dot draw string welcome 50 is axis and 50 is y axis. Next G dot draw line, G dot draw item is a pixels and starting from starting and to end point. G dot draw rect, G dot fill rect, G dot overall. This is a method calling this the simple example of paint method. Okay, next thing font. Next class font. In Java, font is a class that belongs to the java.aw packages. It is implements the serializable interfaces. Font UA resource is the direct known subclass of the Java font class. It represents the font class that are used to render the textured text. In Java, there are two technical terms that are used to represent font are characters and class. Types of font class in Java. First one, physical fonts and logical fonts. These are types of font class. Next one, physical font class. What's a physical font class? The physical fonts are actual Java font library. Actual Java font library. It contains tables that maps character sequence to clef sequence by using the font technology such as two type fonts, TTF, two type fonts, and a PostScript type 1 font. Next, logical fonts. Java defines five logical font families that are serif, sans serif, monospaced, dialog, and dialog input. It must be supported by the JRE. This is Java runtime environment. Next thing is an example. This is a simple example. This is an example of font class. Now import three packages. Java import java.applet.applet, import java.awt font, import java.awt.graphics. Public class Java font access applet. Java font is a class name. Now public void called the paint method. Graphics GPH. Graphics is a class and GPH is an object. Now creative object in font class. Font is a capital F20 font is a class and small F20 font is an object. Font is equal to new font of this a Courier is a font style name. As font dot plain is a font style. 20 is a size of font. Next, GPH set font of font. So set font of font is a set the object. Now GPH dot drawstring open double quote Java font is the best learning platform. This is the string. 12,45 is the x-axis, it's the y-axis. Now we run that program, got the output with the Courier font style and style is a font plain and font size is a 20. Okay, this is the font class. Next one, color class. Next thing, color class. The primary purpose of AWT color class to allow developers to create new color using Java code using RGB. That means red, green, blue. RGB, a red, green, blue, alpha, or HSB, hue, saturation, BRI components, packages. The class contains two values, the code of the shade and the value of opacity or transparency. As color, it defines several constants. For example, color dot black to specify a number of common colors. We can also create our own colors using one of the color constructors. Three commonly used form are shown here. Color int red, int green, int blue, or color int RGB value, or color float red, float green, float blue. This is the three commonly used methods in color class. A color method, the color class defines several methods that help manipulate colors. Get red method, get green method, get blue method, and get RGB methods. Setting the current graphics color, by default, the graphics object are drawn in the current foreground color. We can change this color by calling the graphics method set color. Why? Set color of set color new color. Now see the example. This is the example of color class. Here also we importing the two packages, java.applet.applet and java.awt.star. Here we are using the color this is a class name. Using the color extends public void paint graph is g dot set color of color dot red, g dot drawstring welcome this is a string 50 is axis and y axis, g dot circular color dot p, g dot fill oval. This is the positions and the size. This is the color class. Next topic, swing applet. Okay. Next topic, swing applet. Now next topic is move to the swing. Swing is a Java applet. It says J applet. Java applet is Java Swing public class. It's designed for developers, usually written in Java. J applet is generally in the form of Java bytecode that runs with the help of Java virtual machines. That is a JVM or applet weaver from Sun Microsystems. It was first introduced in 1995. This right? 1995. JApplet can also be written in other programming languages and can later be compiled to Java bytecode. Java applet can be executed on multiple platforms, which include Microsoft Windows, Unix, Mac OS, and Linux. JApplet can also be run as an application through this word record a little extra coding. Java applet can be executed on multiple platforms, which include Microsoft Windows. JApplet extends JApplet extends the class in the form of Java applet. Java applets are executed in a tightly controlled set of resources referred to as sandbox. This prevents the JApplet from accessing local data like the clipboard or file systems. Example for like this is the example of Java applet. Import java x.swing.japplet, import java.awt.start. Public class JCircle extends japplet. Final int radius equal to 25. This is a variable. Public void pane graphics gr.circular color dot white and g.fill rectangle and g.o draw oval. This is called the another method. Next thing is the simple J after all. Next J frame is a Java X dot swing frame. J frame. The Java X dot swing dot J frame is a type of container which increases the Java dot AW dot frame class. J frame class works like the main window. Works like a main window, where components like label, button, text fields are added to create a GUI as a graphical user interface. Let's create a frame. JFrame class has many constructors that are used to create a new JFrame. We can create JFrame using the some method like JFrame empty method. This helps in creating frame which is visible. Next, JFrame string title helps in creating a frame with the title. JFrame graphics configuration GC creates frame with blank title and the graphics configuration on screen. Now let's see one example. This is the example of frame class. Import java.ability flow layout. Layout is a different types layout is that we'll see about later. And import java x.swing.j button. Import java x.swing.j frame. Import java x.swing.j label and import java x.swing.j panel. Now we get a class. This is a public class J for EM is a class name. Public static void main string is arguments. Yes, is a array. Now J frame is a class. Frame is an object. Is equal to new J frame of frame example. This is J frame. This is the title of the frame. J panel is equal to J panel panel is equal to new J panel. Here panel dot set layout. So we are setting the layout on the panel. Layout on the panel. This using this line. Panel dot set layout of new which layout we are setting here. Now we are setting flow layout. Okay, so new flow layout. Next, we create a label using J label. Label is the object. So new label of J frame. The J frame is here display the information that likes a value. Okay, next J button. Button is equal to new J button. Button set text of button. The set text is the help of display the name on the button. This is a button. Panel dot add label. So now we are adding the label on the panel using the add method. Panel dot add of label is panel dot add of button. Now we are setting the button. Now we are adding the button on the panel. Okay. Now frame dot add of panel. So now we are adding panel on the frame. Now we set the size of the frame. Frame dot set size of 200 and 300. This is width and height. Next frame dot set local relatively to null. Frame dot set default close operations. JFrame exists on close. Now click closing the button. Thus automatically windows close. Now this is frame also closed. Now frame set visible to this using this line only we are showing the frame. Okay. Next J difference between J component and components. Difference between components and J components. Java AWT, here Java Suite. AWT components are platform independent. AWT components are heavyweight. AWT does not support pluggable look and feel. AWT provides less components than Swing. AWT does not follow MVC, that's a model view controller. MVC, which where model represents data, view represents presentation, and controller act as an interface between model and view. This is the Java AWT. Now Java Swing. Java Swing components are platform independent. Swing components are lightweight. Swing support pluggable look and feel. Swing provides more powerful components such as tables, list, scroll pans, color poster, table tabbed pan, and etc. Swing follows MVC, model view controller. Okay, now we will see about the J component example. Like is the J component examples. Import java.ability color, import java.ability graphics, java swing.swing J component, and import java extract swing.jframe. Class jcomp extends jcomponent is a class. Public void paint method. Here g dot set color dot green is when I was setting the green color. Next g dot fill rectangle is the size. Now public class jcomp example public static void main and string arguments is there. Now my j component com is equal to new my j component is the object com is the object. Now create a basic. This is the jframe dot set default look and feel decreate true. This line is using the jframe set the frame. Jframe frames to new jframe of jcom frames comes the label on the frame. Frame dot set size is a 300 200. Now frame dot set default close operations is exist on close. Now frame dot add com and frame dot set visible true. This is the simple example of J component example. J component example. Next thing, container. Next thing, container. An applet container is the environment that runs a Java applet and provides secure applet executions. Examples, include web browsers and the applet viewer in Java's software development kit. This is JSDK, Java Software Development Kit (SDK). The applet container uses the sandbox security model, preventing applet from accessing system resources and causing harm. Running an applet in an applet container ensures security and portability. Swing packages also as container for holding the components. As type of container, the container class like components is an abstract class. It has two direct subclasses. Panel, which is only used for grouping components. A window, which is as its name says for creating and handling windows. Next, icon. Swing introduced the concept of an icon for use in a variety of components. The icon interface and image icon class make dealing with a simple images extremely easy. The icon interface is very simple, specifying just three methods used to determine the size of the icon and to display it. Implementers of this interface are free to store and display the image in any way, providing a great deal of flexibility. Now, we'll see the simple example. Icon is a simple example for icon. Input Java X dot swing dot star and input Java dot ability dot star. Public class or icon is a class name and implements this icon. And now call the oval is a constructor. Now we create here one constructor public oval and int w and internet say width is equal to w and right is assign the value here. Public void paint icon component graph is passing the value to the method g dot draw over x comma y with the minus one or height minus one. Public int get icon width and so return width and public int get icon height is a return height. This is the private int with height. This is the simple example of icon. A simple example of icon. Next, J label icon. Next, J label. This we're using J label. The object of J label class library is a component for placing text in a container. It is used to display a single line of read only text. The text can be changed by an applications, but user cannot edit it directly. It inherits J component classes. J label class declarations public class J label extends J components implements the swing constants are accessible. It's a commonly used constructor. Here constructor J label empty label create a J label instance with no image and with an empty string for the title. J label string yes. Create a J label instance with the specified text. J label icon I create a J label instance with the specified images. J label string as an icon I int horizontal alignment. Create a J label instance with the specified text, image, and a horizontal alignment. This is the concept of J label. Now let's see the example of J label. This is the concept of JMT J label and the descriptions. J label string yes, and J label icon I, J label string S icon I, and it also is alignment. Okay, now this is a simple example of J label. Import Java X dot string dot star class label example that's avoid creating a main method, creating a frame J frames new frame label. J label is a class creating a L1 L2 is the object of label. L1 is new J label the first label. L1 dot set bounds. This is size width, this is x axis and y axis. Now LTC new J label is a second label. This is a display the name on the buttons. It's a caption. Second level is a caption and first is also captions. L2 is set bounds this height and width and axis y axis. Now F1 F is a frame object. Okay. Now F dot add of L1. L1 is a label object and F dot to add of L2 is another label of object. Now set size of frame thin and thinner. Now set layout is none and F is set visible 2. Now we are seeing then only now we are seeing the layer frame on the screen. This is a simple example of G label. Next Java J text field. The objects of a JText class is a text component that allows the editing of a single line text. Editing of a single line text. It inherits JText component classes. JText field class declarations. Public class JText field extends JText components implements string constants. Commonly used constructors JText field empty field, JText field string text, JText field string text into columns, JText field into columns. The empty construct JText field is a create a new label, create a new text field, and JText field string is a create a new text field inside with the specified text. J text field string text in columns. Create a new text field initialized with the specified text and columns. This was the text and columns. J text field income create a new empty text field with a specified number of columns. Now this is an example of J text field. There's a constant descriptions. The JText will empty arguments and JText string is one argument and JText will string empty columns is another arguments. Now this is import JSON as the same. Now we create a J frame and I create a J text field. Two texts T1 and T2 is object. Is it two object? Now we create a two text field. Teach to new text field is a welcome is a openly is a displayed on the first text field and this T1 set bounds is a width and height is x-axis placed on the frame. Now next T2 is equal to new J text field. A20 is a text so this text is displayed on the text second text field. T2 dot set bounds the place on the text box on frame. Now are the text field and frame using the frame object and now we are using the add method. Now here f dot add of t1 and f dot add of t2. F dot set size is a frame size and layout is null and a dot set is true. This is the simple example of J text field. Next thing J text button. J text button. The J button class is used to create a label button that has platform independent implementations. Results the application result in some action when the button is pushed. It needs abstract button classes. It needs abstract button classes. Public class J button extends abstract button implements accessible. Commonly used to consider and instance J button empty, J button string is J button icon I is the common constructor using the J button. Let's now see example. This is the example of J button. Say J button class KTM B is new J button. Click as a caption. Now B dot B is a button object. And now B dot set bounds 50 is width and height 95 that is axis and y axis. Now F dot out of B button the sub B is a button object. set size and set left, set visible true. This is the simple example of J button. Next, J checkbox. J checkbox. The J checkbox class is used to create a checkbox. It is used to turn on option on true or false. Clicking on a checkbox changes it is state from on to off or from off to on. It integrates J toggle button classes. J toggle button classes. J checkbox class declaration. Public class J checkbox extends J toggle button implements accessible. So combination constructor like J checkbox empty constructor, J checkbox string is J checkbox string text boolean select. J checkbox accept. The now create an initially unselected checkbox button with no text, no icon. Creates an initially unselected checkbox with text. Creates a checkbox with text and specify whether or not it is initially selected. Creates a checkbox where properties are taken from the actions supplied. Now let's see example of J checkbox. Is the simple example of J checkbox. Let's this is already used how to create a frame and how to checkbox and how to set the frame. Now J checkbox wants to new checkbox C++ is gaps on the checkbox and J checkbox wants to put checkbox and another text another checkbox. Okay. Now F dot add of checkbox one and F dot add of checkbox two is two is here. J checkbox is in object. Now F dot set size 2400 F set layout null Dave set visible true. Now, public certified main method, new checkbox example here. This is the simple example of J checkbox. Next, J radio button. J radio button. The J radio button class is used to create a radio button. It is used to choose one option from multiple options. It is widely used in exam system or wish. It should be added in a button group to select one radio button only. The now usually J radio button classes declaration public class J radio button extends J toggle button implements accessible. Commonly used constructor J radio button string s, J radio button string s and boolean selected. It's create a radio button with no text. Creates an unselected radio button with specified text. Create a radio button with a specified text and a selected status. Now let's see example of J button. There's a radio button. Now J radio button should be R1. Create a new radio button and J radio button R2 should create another radio button. Now set the button on the frame. R1 dot set points, R2 dot set points. The button groups will PG new button group. The PG dot R of R1, PG dot R of R2, PG is here. Button group F1 dot R of R1, F2 dot of R2. So set size and layout are mixable too. This is a example of J radio button. It's example of J radio button. Next, J combo box. Let's see. J combo box. Now the object of choice class is used to show pop-up menu of choices. So pop-up menu of choices. Choice selected by user is shown on the top of menu. It integrates J component classes. It integrates J component classes. J component class declaration public class J extends J component implements from item select table, list data listeners, action listeners, and accessible. Constructor using normally JCombos MTR constructor, JCombos object and items, JCombos vector and items. Now JCombos MT constructor creates a JCombos with the default data model, creates a JCombo box with the contain the element in the specified array. They create a JCombo box with that contains the elements in the specified vector. The JCombo box vectors, specified vectors. Now let's see example of JCombo box. Is the example of JCombo box. Market in different state country, India, Asia, and Asia. Like this example, JCombo box CBC objective. Get a new JCombo box as a country default display. CB dot set points set points used here. I've dot out of CB I've dot set layout null. This is the public certificate new JCombo box example is also created. Okay, this is an example of JCombo box. Now this is the contents of first unit.